Now, when Davy gets to Paxton's in episode 8, she finds out the big emergency was that Paxton's sister needs somebody to model for her portfolio to fashion school. All of her coworkers were supposed to do it, but they ended up bailing on her. And with a photographer there and paid for, they need somebody. Now, initially, Davy's pretty pissed off. She's like, I just left my friends for this? But when she sees how excited Rebecca is that she showed up, Davy agrees to help. And in all honesty, she likes modeling, even though she's terrible at it. It's like a Ricky Bobby situation. She doesn't really know what to do with her hands. But she does get excited when Paxton mentions that she is kind of pulling it off. Fabiola, on the other hand, is wondering where the hell she is. So she opens up Snapchat and finds out that she is at Paxton's house, and she is pissed. When she's done modeling, she asks Paxton why he didn't end up telling the whole school that they didn't sleep together, and he says, I don't fake kiss and tell, but he does agree that they're back to being friends. She then opens up her phone, though, and sees the text messages from Fabiola, and she knows she's in deep shit. She tries to get a hold of him, but to no avail. And the next day when she shows up at school, she's frantically trying to locate her friends, but she can't find them. And one of the people she asks is Ben Gross, and it happens to be Ben's birthday, where his parents give him $1,000 and then left him by himself because they're going to go hang out with 2 Chainz. It's another example of them just being kind of shitty, hands-off parents. So when Davy finds out about this, she asks if he's having a party, but he says, no, I'm pretty inconspicuous. Paxton then walks in the room and starts showing her pictures from her sister's portfolio session. And when Ben hears Paxton say, hey, you look really good here and here, Ben gets a little bit jealous and says, you know what, I'm going to have that party. You can come over. And since it's high school, next thing you know, the entire high school seems to be invited. Davy is able to talk to her friends after class and says, I'm sorry, there was another emergency at Paxton's. And Fabiola says, was that emergency like your friend's mom has abandoned her yet again? And of course, it wasn't. It was being a fashion model. She tries to make it up to him by saying, we can go to Ben's party together, but they're not interested in going to the party with her. In fact, they kind of need a break from her. Especially Eleanor, who, since quitting the play, has just been kind of down and depressed. And the fear of losing her 2 best friends has Davy in a bad mood, and she goes to her therapy session, where it does not go well. Davy pleads her case, but Dr. Ryan thinks this stems from her dad. She feels like that she is so scared to get hurt by anything that she's putting all of her attention into Paxton. And this pisses off Davy so much that she says, and maybe I need a new therapist. But to Davy's surprise, Dr. Ryan says, yeah, maybe you do. And Davy ends up storming out of the therapy session very upset. When she gets home, both her mom and Kamala are putting together a grandfather clock because one of Kamala's matches is coming over to meet her. Davy says, well then because of Kamala's match, you probably don't need me here. I'll go sleep over at Eleanor's. But since Davy's mom's a dermatologist and most of her clients happen to be pimpled high schoolers, she's well aware of Ben's party. So she's not letting Davy go anywhere. Later that day, Davy is looking for some batteries and ends up walking into her cousin's room where, to her surprise, she finds Kamala and Steve making out. And Kamala is embarrassed and even a little ashamed, but Davy says, no, this makes you cool now. But even though Davy thinks it's cool, it's not like she's not going to use it to blackmail Kamala, and she uses it, forcing Kamala to drive her to the party and keep her mouth shut from her mom. But right before Davy gets out of the car, Kamala tells her, you got till 11 o'clock, and Davy thinks that that's going to be plenty of time. As soon as she walks in, she sees her friends there, but her friends do not want to hang out with her, giving her the cold shoulder. She then runs into Ben, and she tells him how awesome his house is, and he decides to give her a tour of the home theater they have. She then gives him a gift of C's candy, and it's the only birthday gift he actually got that year, other than the $1,000 from his parents. And Ben kind of reads the moment wrong and goes in to kiss her, and she pulls back and says, whoa, no, I'm not here for that, but it's cool. And Ben took the it's cool as it's cool, I wasn't ready, come on in for some more. So he leans in to kiss her again, but she once again pulls back saying no and reminds him that he has a girlfriend. And at that point, it's kind of weird, so she walks out. He tries to apologize saying, I'm sorry, I'm drunk, I drank way too much punch, and warns her not to drink the punch because Trent put his balls in it and is now laughing at everybody who drinks it. And at that moment, she sees that Fabiola is about to drink some punch, so she runs out and knocks it out of her hand. The problem is, when she did so, it spilled a bunch of punch all over Fabiola's white suit, and Fabiola freaks out at her. And in the middle of telling Davy how shitty of a friend she's been, she ends up coming out to the whole school mentioning how she's gay. And this includes Eve, the girl that she had a crush on. Davy, in the moment, is getting really defensive but keeps backing up. And backing up and backing up right into Ben's pool. And it's a really embarrassing moment for Davy. But the little snafu that Fabiola had of coming out in front of the entire school might have worked to her benefit, because Eve comes over with some baking soda to try to get all the stains from the punch out, and ends up telling her about how she came out to the world, which was via a tweet. And it doesn't take long between the two to agree to go on their first date. Davy, who is soaking wet, ends up borrowing some clothes from Paxton, but then realizes that she's about to hit that 11 p.m. mark. So Paxton agrees to drive her home so she's not going to be late. When they get to her house, he asks her if she's alright because her friends just blew up at her in front of the entire school. And the two end up having a heart-to-heart where Davy says, I just feel like everybody in my life is leaving me. She feels like he probably doesn't want to hear this at the moment, so she gets ready to leave, but he just grabs her and kisses her. Davy walks in the house on cloud 9. But then when she walks into her house, She has a vision of her dad standing there saying, somebody was out late. Thank you for watching this recap. If you do not see the next one up in the corner right there on the end screen, don't worry, it'll be up shortly. Please consider following the channel. That'd be cool. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, there's a thumbs down button for a reason.